So intention for today's event is to give you 3 practical and 3 magical tools for releasing anxiety. And some of the practical tools are common sense, but when you're feeling anxious, you don't even know where to go. Have you ever been in that place? It's like, oh my God, I know I could do this and that, but, or you don't even know like what to do. So I'm going to list out those things. And actually I have like a lot more, but then I'm like, oh my God, that would be an all day event. So I cut it down to 3 and 3. So this way, if you're ever in that situation, or if you have people in your life who's going through that, then you can just be like, okay, let me try this, let me try that, let me try this. So that way you have 6 tools that you can use. And 3 of the magical tools comes from Reiki, Japanese energy healing system. So who in here is a Reiki practitioner? Someone who does Reiki? Awesome, awesome. Okay, so for you, it may be a good review for you. And if you learn Reiki from another school, you may learn something new from me. And who's new to Reiki here? Anyone new to Reiki? Awesome. Yes, thank you, brave souls. So you will get the experience and the taste of Reiki today. So Reiki works physically, but it also works mentally and emotionally and spiritually. And for those logical mind, I want to let you know it is widely accepted at many hospitals as well too. So sorry, I have to let a couple people in. Okay. And so I have worked with ICU patients or people who just came out of the surgery. And it's also a great mental health tool as well too. So most of my clients and students are people who has maybe anxiety or self-confidence issue, or maybe they may be feeling lost. And many of them are very successful at their job. And that may be why they're hitting a wall, because they're up against something big all the time. And I help them with my Reiki session or my Reiki class to release anxiety or negative self-belief and guide them to live life that sparks joy for them. So we will end after the 6 tools, we'll end this event with Reiki spiritual blessing, which is not associated with any religion. So if you're like, oh, I don't know about this, you can opt out. And my recommendation is try it out, because I run this kind of event all the time. And it's often is the highlight of the event. Everyone loves that. So if you are up for it, then please make sure to receive it, because it's generally afterward, I hear from most of the people who attended the event, like, oh my God, that was my highlight. So towards the end, I'll share with you information about upcoming virtual Reiki 1 class for those of you who's interested, so you can learn more about the system of Reiki. And then, so the event itself is 90 minutes. And there will be Q&A and catch up at the end. So some of you who haven't seen in a while, some of you, I spent an intense week just last week, but I want to know how you're doing. So if you want to stick around, and then I'd love to hear what you've been up to. So I have a favor to ask you now. So what I would like to ask you is, can you, and like what you guys have been doing, can you participate fully and also laugh, right? Smile and laugh. Because when you, and Roxanne knows about this too, when you actually laugh, your brain's plasticity changes where you can observe more information. So when you laugh, it makes me feel good, because I feel like I'm, being funny. And I may not always be funny, but if you could just pretend that I'm funny, and if you can laugh, then you learn more, you retain more information, and then everyone's gonna feel good, including me. So would you be able to do that? Yes, yes, yes. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. All right, so let's make it fun. And let me see. I misread. Oh, gotcha. No worries. If you have to go in 1 hour, you're free to go. And if you want to pull your friend in, you're welcome to do that too, because I'll be doing the spiritual blessing like towards the end. So, but completely understand. Yeah, sorry. I think I didn't really, I didn't make it clear that it was a 90 minutes event. So sorry about that. Yes, laugh out loud. All right. So I know that most of you know me, and some of you, I don't think I ever met you. Anne, I don't think I met you, right? I think you're new to me. So let me introduce myself. And for those of you who know me, I don't think maybe some of you don't know this part of me. You know me from other places. So my name is Michelle Shinagawa, and I'm a Reiki Master Teacher and KonMari Business Life Space and Organizing Consultant and Tony Robbins trainer and relationship coach. And the list goes on and on. I'm a geek. So if I start listing out all the titles, there's too many and it will put you to sleep. So I won't bore you with that. But one of the things I want to tell you is I have been teaching Reiki and other transformational work since 2007. And I have taught over 300 classes and 5,000 people. So not to brag about it, but just in case you're wondering, like, has she done this before? I kind of been around so that, you can rest your mind and maybe give me some time for you to get the information from me. So I'm originally from Japan, and I was a shy Asian girl. I was what I call myself a warrior, like this kind of warrior, not this kind of warrior, right? I was worried all the time, and I was anxious. I used to work at the top ad agency in New York in a very high stressful environment. Anyone work in a high stress environment in here? Anyone? Okay, yes, few of you. Yeah, so when I started Reiki, I did not know that it was going to help with my anxiety at high stress environment. Believe it or not, I started Reiki for my dog. He was a Sheltie, a sheep herding dog, and running was his favorite pastime. And when he was 6 years old, he developed an arthritis and he started to limp. And I was like, oh, poor thing. And he couldn't enjoy running anymore. So when someone told me that Reiki helps with human arthritis and may help with dog as well, I was like, okay, sign me up to that Reiki class. I don't know what that is, but I'll do it. I was that crazy dog mother. So who in here is the crazy dog mother or cat mother? Yeah, quite a few of you, yes. It works very well with animals too. So after the Reiki class, I gave him some Reiki sessions, and he didn't need that many. He stopped limping for 6 years after that. And little did I know that I was going to benefit from Reiki as well too. So like I said, I used to be really shy and I was really insecure and had so much mental chatter. And I noticed the more Reiki I do for myself, more confident and zen I became. So that was when I decided that I need to keep going so that way I can help myself. My dog was all good, right? He was running around. In some way, it's like, now I have to walk him 2 hours every day because, he's not limping anymore. I was very happy for him. But at the same time, it's like, okay, when will he slow down? He didn't slow down until when he was like 12 or so, which I'm very happy about. And so I started to take Reiki class for myself. And after I learned to take care of myself, and my self-confidence grew. And I was able to start to manifest things like the lifestyle that I always wanted, like a life of traveling. And so before pandemic, I was actually traveling around maybe 1/3 of a year. And anytime I travel, about 80% of the time, I get the upgrade. Well, like I may not be the first one to show up, but they will escort me to the front row. So I was kind of like attracting a whole lot of good stuff. And then also I was choosing my own path that was not imposed by the society or my family, right? Like what I wanted to do. And I was able to also see gift in every situation. So even during pandemic or my newly diagnosed autoimmune condition, which is not that fun, but it didn't matter what the situation was. I found gift in every situation. So most people know me as Miss Positive. And then a few things went wrong at once in January. So the Miss Positive kind of went down to the ground. So my autoimmune condition got worse, and my favorite project got canceled, and my best friend slash roommate that I emotionally rely on found his dream home in Virginia and is moving out. And I'm very happy for him, but it was like the rug was pulled under me and it hit me really hard. So while my best friend was closing his home and fixing up his home, so he hasn't completely moved out yet, but I was started to get anxious. And it was so bad that all I wanted to do was to sleep. And I never felt like that in the past. I heard from many clients who mentioned about that. It's like, I don't want to do anything. And I'm generally the one that would like keep myself busy, not to face the problem. I'm not saying I never like not face the problem, but I just like keep running and running. But this time I'm just like, oh, I don't want to do anything. I just want to sleep. And I did not want to do anything. And I felt like, wow, I can finally better understand my clients. So let me keep track of what I'm doing to get out of this thing, right? So I can help them. So my mind was still kind of going busy. So that's what I'm going to be sharing with you today. So I'm hoping by sharing this with you that maybe for those of you who may experience anxiety here and there, or you have people in your life who experience anxieties, that maybe this will help you. So I'm always trying to find the gift in every situation, right? So I'm hoping that the roller coaster ride that I had to do will be helpful to some of you. So, and just so you know, so that you don't worry about me, as you can see, I'm back to Miss Positive again. So I came out of it in about a week or so. So because I took time to go all the way down, that when I came out of it, it kind of shot up really high. That's why I'm calling it like roller coaster, right? It's like, boop. So, and then when I came out of it, I don't know if you believe in like when you're in high vibration or high frequency, that you attract more things that you want in your life. I subscribe to that theory. So when I came out of it, I started to manifest quite a few things that I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Okay. So one of the things was to be able to assist my chakra teacher, Anadea at Kripalu, for like 8 days. So for those of you who doesn't know what that means, just know it's a huge gift. It's an amazing experience. So I was only in that dump for about a week, but I know some people stay there for years or decades, right? Like you probably know some people like that in your life. So I'm hoping maybe if you do have some people like that, or you could use it for yourself, then you can just use it and being able to come out of it high and maybe manifest some things that you always wanted in your life. So are you guys ready for the tools? Anyone? Thank you for participating. Appreciate it. All right. So, oh, thank you. Yes, you can put reaction too with your screen. Thank you, Ify. So I'm going to start with 3 practical tools. So the first one is praise. Do anything and pat your back. Okay, let's try patting our back. Yay for coming here on Sunday morning. Good job. Yes. So if your anxiety is so bad where all you want to do is sleep or so lethargic that you don't want to do anything, or you're just keeping yourself busy, just take one step, right? Okay, so not the people who's being too busy, but if you just don't feel like doing anything, then just take one step. Just get out of bed. Yeah, good job, you got out of bed, right? Same thing for people in your life who's like, oh, we are really hard on ourselves. Do you agree with me? Like we pressure and we make it worse for so many people. So especially for ourselves, but maybe people who you're close to, right? It's like, why can't you do this? Why can't you do that? And we do that in our head too. So let's drop the perfectionist in us. Often we get anxious because we don't meet our high standard. And we can make it like a game And we can create a checklist if you feel up for it, right? Once you get out of bed, you can create a checklist. Okay, I know there's all these things I got to do and I feel bad. Then maybe you can just make a list. And you can pick the easy one to do. That's what I did when I was in the dump. I made a list, right? I know I have to do all these things, but I don't feel like doing it. Maybe I'll just make a list, right? So that I feel at least something being accomplished, making a list. And then I made a list and I just did the easy stuff, right? Normally I go for the hard stuff. Like I'm going to get all these things done. But no, I just did all the easy stuff. And every time I did the easy stuff, I pat my back. Or you can put star next to it, right? Make yourself feel good. So high achiever New Yorker in me was like, oh my God, I can't keep doing this. I have all these things I got to do. But I know it was just temporarily, right? It's just going to be temporarily if I cut slack for myself. If I just keep pressuring myself, have you ever been in that situation where like you put so much pressure to yourself that you just froze and you couldn't do anything, right? But if you just cut slack and if you just appreciate yourself and you start moving just a little bit, just an inch, then you can see you can keep moving. Do you agree with me? Yes, thank you. So we can have a vision, goal, and a dream, but the pressure of our high expectation or comparing to other people, especially looking at the social media, I get like that too, right? It's like, oh my God, so-and-so accomplished this and so-and-so did this, and I'm over here sleeping, right? That makes it worse. But yes, a lot of you are laughing, so I see that you may be in the same shoes. But if you can just pat your back for making a little move when you're feeling like that, right? Then it's like, oh, that was good. Maybe I can do this next. Oh, then maybe I'll do this one next, right? But if you're like, no, you got to go for the kill. Let's do the hard stuff. Then maybe you may be killing your dream. So if you can't do anything, and if you could at least make a list, right? Categorize them and start with all the easy one and reward yourself. And you know what? Maybe you just need to nurture your inner child that way, right? Like, oh, good job, Misha. Wow, maybe that's what it is, that you just keep, you are working so hard. And nurturing your inner child is a huge topic. So we won't go there today, but I only go through the nurturing the inner child in the private session, but you can just do that by being kind to yourself, right? You could go out and buy your favorite snack from your childhood, or nowadays, right? You don't have to even go out, just order it on Amazon if you don't feel like getting out of bed and have it delivered to your doorstep. And then every time you do something, even something small, then it's like, here you go, Hershey's Kiss, or whatever it is. So, and if you really don't feel like doing anything for yourself, but you could help someone else, go for it. So who in here feels good when you help someone else? Anyone in here? Yeah, right? So, sometimes maybe you don't even have enough energy to want to help people, but if you do have enough energy to help, and sometimes helping other people could just be like donating some money, right? And then that kind of stuff kind of get us out of our head. So when things are not so well for me, I often donate to a dog rescue. I donate to a shelter rescue, my favorite nonprofit. And some of you probably have some favorite nonprofit organization, and I don't think they'll complain like, oh man, Michelle only donates to us when she's in a dumper. Right? She is, most of the organization normally send me this nice email, a nice mail saying how appreciative they are and how much dog that I saved. So maybe that's one way to go it. And then if you have a friend who need help, and if you could, right, if you feel up for it, don't stretch yourself. If you're not in a place to be able to help other people, then don't stretch yourself. Don't push yourself. You want to take care of yourself first. But if you're like, I think I could do that, then often helping other people, put your problem aside. right? And when you're done, you can pat your back or they'll pat your back. I hope most of your friends, if you help them, they'll be very appreciative, right? And then that kind of energy will help you to get out of your own head. So when you stop focusing on yourself, we can help release our anxiety because it just gets us out of our head. So does that make sense to you? Number one is praise. Any question? You guys good? All right. So number two is addressing the elephants in the room. So if you wake up with anxiety and maybe you can't fall back asleep, find out what it is that you're anxious about. Often we're kind of vague about what it is we're anxious about, and we ignore it and we push it down. So what you want to do, you want to point out what it is that we're anxious about, identify what it is, then you can release it. But if you can't even see what it is, you can't release them. So let's say you got laid off, right? And then you're like, of course I feel anxious. But you normally stop there. Well, we normally stop there, right? What is it that you actually feel anxious about? Can you dig deeper? Because I know some people are so happy to be laid off. I know people like that, and they may be here. So it is fear. Is it the fear of not having enough money? Or is it not having identity as that person who used to work there? Or is it not having enough connection? Or is it fear of not finding a new job? Or is it feeling worthless? Feeling of rejection? Right? There's many layers to that. So it might have triggered your childhood trauma of rejection. And so if you can identify what it is, if you can take time and identify it, you can move them. You can find the solution. But if it's vague, it's just gonna stay here. For most of us, it's either like, weird feeling in our head, or weird feeling in our heart, or weird feeling in our solar plex. It's like, oh, I just don't feel good. Oh, I just feel anxious. And it will just hang in there. Or it may dissipate here and there, but they will come back. So, one morning when I was like, I don't want to get up, I don't want to do anything with my life, I was like, okay, Michelle, this is what you do with your clients all the time. Let's take time to find out what it is. And I figured out it was being alone and worried about my finances. Those are the two things that was running me anxious. So I think it triggered like my abandonment issue from my childhood. And, my best friend is the biggest supporter in my life. So I'm kind of like, well, what am I going to do by myself? And when I really looked at my life, I was still chatting with him at least 1 hour a day over the phone, right? Like when I needed some like email proofreading or like, oh, how should I do this? He was there over the phone. And I used to live by myself until 3 years ago. So I'm like, okay, I think I could actually live by myself. And the other thing, the finance, right? Between losing my favorite project and needing to pay for my place by myself now, I was worried that I'm going to be broke. So I checked my bank account and it looks like I'm fine. I'm kind of far away from being broke. So, and the other thing that keep creeping up on me is my autoimmune condition, right? Oh my God, am I going to be immobile and I'm going to die by myself? And then I get discovered like 7 days later, right? And it's just like, when I really looked at myself, okay, I just have little pain in my finger from arthritis. And my autoimmune condition is, mostly under control. My doctor called me her star patient because every time she finds something on my blood test and she tried to put me on meds, I take care of my condition. So that way I don't have to be on med. It just, for me personally, this is like one of those things, once I'm on, I have to be on rest of my life and there's some side effect. So I prefer to take care of it in a natural way. So I do Reiki, I change my diet, and then, my number on blood test changes. So I'm like, okay, I think I'm doing okay with that too. So, I was like still a little bit, so I just booked my nutritionist and my healer so that I can feel better to take care of my body. So, I looked at what's going on and I figured out what I was anxious about at the deeper level. And then I found the solutions. And some of them I didn't even need to be anxious about. So my recommendation to you or people in your life is write out everything that you're anxious about. Take it out of your head. Seeing on a paper, make it clear. It's kind of like seeing in a broad daylight instead of seeing in the dark. So I think maybe if I were to stay home, being anxious and do nothing, right, and no make friends, then I guess I can eventually in 10 to 20 years, drive myself to be alone and broke, right? And then maybe I'll die alone and be discovered. But that's if I don't do anything, right? It's kind of silly. But when I saw that, I was like, oh, what was I doing? Because what I was doing was driving me to the direction that I didn't want to be in. And I had all these things I could do to take care of it. So that really helped me to release my anxiety and kind of laugh about it, right? It's like, oh, what the hell was I thinking? That's so funny that I'm like imagining things like that. So I would add like a little spice is to, make fun of yourself and laugh about that. So I have noticed that for most people who has anxiety, we're anxious about things that we don't even need to be anxious about. And that's what often happens with my clients, right? They don't want to face it and have this like a vague anxiety. And once I help them look at what it is that they're having anxiety about, they can actually take action. And some of them, they don't even need to take action. It's fine as is. So my recommendation that yourself go down deep to take time to allow yourself to feel your feelings. We often want to avoid our feelings. But once we feel them, we can complete them. And you may need some help with it, right? Your friend or your professional therapist or healer like me, because you may not be used to going down. So you may not know how to come out of it. So if you're not too sure how to do it, then my recommendation is at least, take yourself to a place where you feel comfortable, or watch a very sad movie or read really sad book that makes you cry. And have you noticed that when you like cry watching a movie or reading book, that kind of puts you in a vulnerable place, no? Like when I cry myself out, I'm very vulnerable. So I often take myself there and then I look at my life. And at that time, I'm much more open, right? I'm much more in my heart rather than in my head. And I know that once I go super low, I can come back high too. So, just prepare yourself for it. If you go deep down, then you can also come back. And if you feel like, this is like something new that you don't know how to do it, then you may want to, ask for help from a professional or at least have a friend to hold you back, right? Like you could just call your friend and be like, hey, I'm going to go through this process. If I'm not in touch with you tomorrow, call me, or like, I'm gonna, can I talk about it to you in a couple hours after I go through my process, right? So that way you're not gonna go down and stay there. Does that make sense? So that is number 2, addressing the elephants in the room. It's generally not just one. It could be more than one, right? They could be just roaming around aimlessly, and maybe they don't need to be around. As long as you point at them, you grab them by the horn or whatever that you call that, I guess like by the teeth. Maybe you can actually drive them to where you want to go. Okay, so you're good with 2? Yes. All right, then let's go to number 3. Tidy room. Oh, thank you, Natalia. Tidy room, tidy mind. So I am a KonMari organizing consultant, so I know this well. Have any of you started tidying up your room when you're up against some deadline? Like, yeah, thank you, thank you. Yeah, right. It's like, okay, let me clean my desk. Wait, I have all this deadline. What am I doing? That's actually, you're sorting out your head. Clutter in our environment affect us in our head. So do you ever look around the room and go, oh God, I gotta pick that up. I gotta straighten up that pillow. And oh, that book needs to be put away. Yes. That's clutter in our head. When you walk into the room, you come home and you see all these things. It's like 100 gazillion million information coming into your head, especially if you have clutter. So that's why when you walk into the hotel room, you have vacation in your head because everything is pristine, right? Or it's not your problem. They'll clean that for you. They'll fix that for you. So you don't have to like put it in your head. But when you walk in your home and if you have a clutter, then it clutters your mind. So an expert says clutter is linked to anxiety and depression. Can you kind of see why that may happen? Yeah, because you're getting all these overwhelming information about what you should be doing. So tidying more physical item can help move your emotions and clear your head. And, you know, during the time that week, I was like in a dumper, I was like, you know what, if I can't move my projects, right? I'm all about like moving my project, getting things done generally, but if I can't move them or anything else, I might as well tidy my place to create spark joy environment. So I started to, you know, tidy up place even more. And at the end of it, I ended up with tidier home and much less anxiety. So, you know, if you do that, oh, yes, Roxanne, tidy up. So at the end of it, you may have more clear head and sense of accomplishment. So that was number 3. Are you guys all good with that? Any questions? I know you guys are all taking notes. Thank you for listening to me very intently. And if I'm going too fast, let me know. When I get very excited about sharing things that I love, I kind of talk really fast. I'm, you know, New Yorker. So if you need me to repeat anything, let me know. All right. So now I'm moving on to the 3 magical tools. I'm done with 3 practical tools. So who's ready for 3 magical tools? Anyone in here? Okay, thank you, thank you. So the first magical tools is meditation. Who does meditations in here? Okay, a lot of you. Yeah, good. So you know the effect of meditation. And any meditation is good. And my favorite is Reiki precept chants. So this meditation has this clearing effect. I feel like it's like a vortex of corkscrew like energy clearing me out. So I'm gonna chant in a little bit, and some of you who are in my class, you know how to chant, so you can chant with me. And if you don't know how to chant this particular meditation, you can just listen and enjoy the energy and meditate. And you learn how to chant this in my Reiki class if you're interested. But this comes from the Reiki principles. So I'll be chanting in Japanese. So I want to tell you the English translation so that you know what I'm saying, but you can just feel the energy too. And I'll put it in the chat so that way you can get them. Oh, wait, Natalia said I can relate to cleaning up and decluttering and feeling relief. Yeah, right? I love that about the KonMari method is you can move stuff and then it changes your life. It's not just the physical items. So what I'm saying in the chant is just for today, don't anger, don't worry, be grateful, work diligently, be compassionate and kind. So I put it in the chat so that way, I'm sure I said it a little too fast, but you can copy paste it from there. So I know some of you guys are still taking notes, but I would like you to do is to think about something that you may be anxious about or you want to get rid of. And imagine it being cleared away as we chant, or as I chant and some of my students chanting. And those of you who are new to it, you can just listen in and feel the energy. So if you can think of things, and then those of you who can chant with me, you can also think about the things you want to let go. So do you all have something that you want to let go of? Or is your life so good that you don't have anything that you want to let go of? Are you guys good? Okay, you thought of something? All right. So close your eyes and take a nice deep breath in. And for those of you who can chant with me, you can chant. 今日だけは怒るな、心配すな、感謝して、今日を励め、人に親切に。今日だけは怒るな、心配すな、感謝して、今日を励め、人に親切に。今日だけは怒るな、心配すな、感謝して、今日を励め、人に親切に。今日だけは怒るな、心配すな、感謝して、今日を励め、人に親切に。今日だけは怒るな、心配すな、感謝して、今日を励め、人に親切に。今日だけは怒るな、心配すな、感謝して、今日を励め、人に親切に。今日だけは怒るな、心配すな、感謝して、今日を励め、人に親切に。Okay, I'm gonna do one last one. So anything you want to let go, please let them go. 今日だけは怒るな、心配すな、感謝して、今日を励め、人に親切に。Now take a nice deep breath in and breathe out as you release whatever it doesn't serve you. And when you're ready, open your eyes. How was that for you? Did any of you feel some clearing? Anyone in here? Good, good, good. Thank you. And anyone feel maybe a little bit lighter? Yeah, thank you, thank you. I see the difference in your face. So that was very quick and you already feel some difference, right? So we create a space in our head by releasing some stuff with meditation. For me, I always did my meditation since I started Reiki, but I upped my meditation time when I went through that week. And I noticed that new ideas started to come up. Right? When I do the meditation, I get a whole bunch of new ideas. That's when I got this. It's like I was keeping track of all the things I was doing to get out of the anxiety, but I was just going to make a newsletter or Facebook post. And I'm like, you know what? I can make an event out of this thing. Right? I was thinking about doing like Reiki intro, and it's like, you know what? I might as well just like add more things that I'm actually doing to help people. Oh, and thank you for those of you who's drinking water. My recommendation is to drink a lot of water, either during or after, because you are moving a lot of energy. So I just love doing the meditation because I was able to release stuff and then also be able to start to feel things so that's positive, like, hey, it would be fun to be able to do an event like this, right? Like all these ideas always excite me. I'm an idea person. And I knew that's when I was back as who I was. So would you like this Reiki Precept Meditation MP3? Yes, okay. So I am going to email it to you at the after probably in a couple of hours, so that way it's like only about a couple minutes, but I don't know exactly how it works on Android, but I'm assuming the same as iPhone. If you put it on iTunes, you can put it on loop. So it can keep play forever and ever and ever. So you can put my voice or my recording to work. And then you can meditate with it for those of you who doesn't know how to chant. And if you want to learn, you can come to my Reiki class. And for those of you who know how to chant, you can get my voice to chant along with you if you like. And then also some of my students use it to like clear the room. If you feel like, oh God, you know, like not good energy, right? Especially if you're traveling, you go to a new hotel room or something like that. Maybe your own room is good, but they use it just like a sage. You know how you can clear the room with sage? Well, some hotel room won't let you, I think most hotel rooms won't let you have smoke. Sorry. So they will use my recording. They will just like set on some recording. Like actually, I guess they will just leave their phone with my voice running and then go somewhere for like an hour and come back and clear the room. So I'll send it to you in the email so you can meditate along and release some anxiety, or you can get your room to release some anxiety energy from there as well too. Any question about this one? You guys good? All right. So let's move on to the second magical tools. So for those of you who's been in my Reiki class, this is my favorite Reiki tool. So I think you know what's coming. It's the dry bathing. Dry bathing can help you release anxiety or negative energy, and it can help you to connect and ground yourself. So you could also use it for maybe if you have an important meeting to release some anxiety, right? And then connect to yourself. And maybe if you go to a meeting and if that didn't work out so well, you can release that feeling of like weird energy, right? Have you ever been to a meeting where like, it's like, oh, it just feels so sticky? That's a good time to use this tool to be able to release. So I'm going to show you how to do it. And so first one, just watch me and then we'll do it together. I'll show you how to do it. So it looks like this. And those of you who know how to do it, you can do it with me. So, you know, almost like 10 seconds. It's very simple and easy. So you guys are ready to do it together? Right hand over to the left shoulder. And then you go crosswise. So brush against your torso. Yes, and left hand over to the right. And then you go brush on the other side. And now back to right to left shoulder. And you go brush against. Okay, and then now left hand out. And then bring your hand to the shoulder and go all the way to the fingertips. And now the other side and go all the way to the fingertips. And now back to the left. That's it. Pretty simple, right? So I want to do this with you again with a breath, but also I want to think of something that you may want to release. I know you just released something, so maybe there's something else, right? Like some icky feeling, or maybe you may have something in some anxiety that you may still have. So I want you to think about that with the intention of releasing it. Yes, you guys good? And then we'll do it with breath. So think of something you want to release, and then let's bring your right hand over to the left shoulder, breathing in and breathing out and release. So, sorry, make sure you go crosswise. Thank you. And then now left hand over to the right shoulder. And then you brush against and breathing in, breathe out. Right hand over to the left shoulder again and breathing in and breathing out and release. And now left hand out and breathing in and breathing out all the way to the fingertips and release. Right hand out, breathing in and breathing out to the fingertips and release. And one last one, breathing in and breathing out. Okay, so are you guys feeling some energy movement? Yeah. All right, so Now, what I want to do, I just wanted to show you, you can do it with breath. And when you add breath, it may be more effective. And you just learned this new Macarena, so that may be a little bit too much, right? I'm breathing here, and then where is my hand going? So if it's too much for you in the beginning, you don't need to add breath. Maybe after you get used to it, you could add some breath. And another tip is the thing that trips some people who's new is because it's not even. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I normally just say 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that way it's easier. So maybe we can do it together a couple more times so you can get it in your body. And you can add breath or not add breath, whatever works for you. That's easier for you. So you guys ready? Yes, yes. Okay, so think of whatever you want to release. And 1. Oh, sorry, bring your right hand over to the left. And 1. And the other side. 2. And 3. Left hand out. 1. And the other side. 2. And last one, 3. So maybe that made it a little easier for you. So let's do it one more time so you can really get it in your body and release whatever you got to release. So take a nice deep breath in, and 1, 2, 3. Left hand out. 1, 2, 3. All right, how does that feel? Would you like to put it in the chat how you feel? Maybe it's not easy to explain how that feels, but you feel the moving of the energy in your body. Do you feel some release? Tingly, yes, yes, yes. Yes, great, yeah. I often feel tingling when there's a movement in my body. And you feel release and lighter. Thank you, Elizabeth and Natalia. You feel light. Awesome, awesome. Okay. So when like you can use it in so many different situations. Yesterday I went to the grocery shopping, right? And then I live in New York City, so I don't drive for grocery shopping. I have to walk. I just went right around the corner and I bought some bananas. So, I was carrying it like this. I didn't have my hands free. But then there's this woman who was yelling on the sidewalk to whoever she was talking to. And I had to walk by her. And it's like, oh, like, do you feel sometimes when you walk by that kind of people that like energy is like stuck on you, right? So I was like, oh, I gotta do dry bathing, but my hands are full. And if you're in that kind of situation, you can do that in your head. Like if you're on an airplane and maybe you feel like, ooh, like I feel anxious about taking off, but there's all these people next to me. I mean, I do this on subway or airplane, but if you feel like, oh, I don't want people to like look at me funny, you can do that in your head. After you get used to doing it physically, you could actually do this in your head and it works. So that's what I did. After like I walked by this woman who was yelling at the poor whoever she was talking to, I had my thing in my hand, but then I'm like, okay, dry bathing, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then I just left it there. Those weird energy does not need to come home with you. So if you ever are in that situation, and if your hands are free, right? You could do this, but if you are not, you could even do this in your head. Jackie, I also stop my feet to drop the energy to the ground. Oh yeah, just let it go, right? Send it to the ground. Yes, good idea. So this can be used for when you have anxiety or when you're stuck with some weird energy, or you can use it to, help yourself to ground and connect to yourself. Any question? No, you guys good? Okay. Then the last but not least, the third magical tool is Reiki Self-care. So I'm going to share with you the first 3 positions out of 16 self-care that is most effective for anxiety. So you can use this before going to bed to help you fall asleep, or when you're waking up and help you give you extra energy. So in the Reiki class, you learn the whole preparation steps and 16 steps, but today we're going to do the abbreviated version. So what I would like to do is let's start with dry bathing. Let's do the dry bathing again. Do you guys remember how to do that? I'll call 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So let's do this together. Right hand over to the left. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And you can bring your hand into a prayer position and set some intentions. Maybe releasing anxiety, or maybe you're going to have an amazing Sunday after this, whatever it is. And when you're ready, bring your hands over to your eyes. So cup your eyes and fingertips about the hairline. So I'm going to take my position off so that I can see you guys, but keep your hands over there. Okay, yeah, you guys are looking good. And breathing in and breathing out. And maybe you can breathe in, imagine that you're breathing in the Reiki energy, universal life force energy, and then breathe out, imagine Reiki energy coming out from your hands. And now you can bring your hands on top of a crown. So your fingertips could be touching with each other and bring it over to the top of the crown. Yeah, and you can still keep your eyes closed if it's more relaxing for you. And breathing in, Reiki energy breathing into your body. And then breathing out, imagine Reiki energy coming out from your hands. And maybe you started to feel some warmth, some tingling sensation, some energy. And this is a really great position if you have a lot of stuff in your head. If you feel like your head is so full that it's just getting clogged up, this is a really great position to release. And then just so you know, these positions are much easier if you're laying down, so you can prop your arms, but like sitting up, it's not that easy. So I'm moving on to the next position. So the next one, you can either put hands side by side and put it at the back of your head, or you can put it top and bottom and put it at the same spot, whichever is easier for you. And then maybe you can close your eyes again and relax. And breathing in, Reiki energy, and breathing out. Oh, yes, top and bottom again, like this. Let me see. So it's like that. Okay. So whichever is easier for you. And once again, this position is much easier if you're in bed because your arm is not in the air. So you can stay here much longer. Yeah, if you're on the couch or if you're up against the bed, you can just lean back and that may make it easier. So this position is really great to get rid of the mental chatter. And then I'll give you one bonus position, which will be much easier than these holding up. One on your heart and one on your solar plex. Yes, and take a nice deep breath in. And breathe out. Imagine Reiki energy connecting your heart and your solar plex. And I think you can stay in this position forever. And you could do that after the event, but I want to make sure I send you off to your day. So let's do dry bathing to end your self-care. So bring your right hand over to the left. 1, 2, 3. Left hand out. 1, 2, 3. All right. How does that feel? Who feels more connected to yourself? Anyone in here? Good, good, good. Yeah. And I feel like when you're connected to yourself, oh, thank you, Natalia, too. When you're connected to yourself, you are less anxious, right? When you can actually feel yourself. It's often when you're in your head that you're anxious. When you actually can be connected to your body physically, when you do something physical, it can help you release your anxiety. So it's a very self-meditative practice. And if you're interested in learning all 16 steps, then you can learn that in a Reiki class. But you know those 4 steps for now. So please use them as much as you can. It's great to use it first thing in the morning before you go to bed. So do you have any question with the Reiki self-care? Are you guys good? And then at the end, there's a place where like I'll stop the recording and you can freely ask any questions too. So if you do have any question, you can ask me then too. But can you see that if you use all 6 tools, even if you use like half of them, you may be able to get out of anxiety if you get into anxiety mode sometime? Yes, 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 or okay, good, good, good. Thank you for nodding. I was like, no. Thank you. So can I share with you where you can learn more about Reiki for a couple more minutes? Would that be okay with you? For those of you who's okay, for those of you who's new, thank you. And for those of you who's taking my class, thank you. So, and then after that, we'll end with Reiki spiritual blessing and then conclude the formal parts. And then we'll go to the, sharing and Q&A. So in the virtual Reiki 1 class, you learn and experience the art of Japanese energy healing system Reiki. So you learn what Reiki is, and you learn the all 16 steps of the Reiki self-care. And the highlight of the Reiki class is learning self-care. So who in here run around taking care of other people, your job, your clients, and taking care of yourself is the last thing? Yes, yes, it's great for people like you. Maybe you may need to claim time for yourself. So not only you learn the position, but also learning the concept of self-care to take care of yourself. So you learn the easy and quick way to take care of yourself. And for most of us, it gives a lot of energy. So before pandemic, I was running around all over the place and everyone was wondering like, how do you do that? I'm like, Reiki self-care. Ever since I learned Reiki, I don't call in sick. When I used to work at larger agency, I don't call in sick. I'll call in sick. And when I say, sorry, my dog is sick, I'm going to a doctor. That was about the only time I was calling in sick. I used to call in sick, like, I don't know, like a regular people get like, I think 5 days off or something. And before Reiki, I used to get regular, like, oh, sorry, I have a fever today or something like that. But ever since I started to do Reiki self-care, at least for me, I don't really get sick. I don't get cold. So I'm able to run around. And of course, I run around a little too much. So I think I run myself down. And that may be why I have an autoimmune condition. But even with that autoimmune condition, I'm able to use Reiki to be able to, work with it. So I'm not on medication, like I said. And then you also learn history of Reiki, which is pretty fascinating. And then you receive 2 meditations and 4 Reiki spiritual energy blessing, which also is called attunement. So Reiki blessing can help you open up and connect more to the Reiki energy. And you get the taste of it tonight if you choose to. In the class, you receive individual Reiki blessing, and here you get the group one, and you still get the effect of it too. Now, someone who came on Wednesday, she was my student, and she received in-person Reiki blessing in the past, and she was a little bit skeptical, but she received the group Reiki blessing, and afterwards she was like, "Oh, this is just like how I used to feel in person. Oh, we got some Hello, cutie one. Hello, thank you for joining us. And if she would like to stay for a Reiki blessing, she could do that too. Okay, and then you learn a chair protocol. So you learn to be able to give Reiki session to others. So do you have people in your life that may need some support? Anyone in here? Yeah, so if you do, you are able to find a way to support someone else. So you can learn a 15-minute protocol on how to give Reiki sessions. And then last but not least, you learn spiritual centering practice. And so you can learn the spiritual centering practice that you can incorporate into your daily life that will help you to be connected, grounded, and centered. So that's what you learn in Virtual Reiki 1 class. And the next class is happening on Saturday and Sunday, March 25th and 26th. And it's 12 to 5 Eastern Standard Time. And it's on Zoom, so you could be anywhere in the world, although I think most of you are, I think everyone is in US. And the regular price of the class is $375, but because I know a lot of you need this tool, that I am doing the early bird pricing for $300. So it's $75 off until March 11th. So if this is something you like to learn, please take advantage of that. And I'm also doing this something new, that if you bring your friends or family, so if there's 2 of you who's taking class together, then I'm taking extra $50 off. So you'll be $500 between 2 of you until March 11th. And if you live in US, I'll ship you this beautiful manual. That is, that's actually a picture from Kripalu. And I hired an illustrator to actually do all the illustration for the self-care. So it is a very pretty. We used to have this manual that was that I inherited from my teacher that was a little bit not as pretty as this one. So let me see what I wanted to say. So I wanted to share with you what some of my students went through. One of my students came in with the intention to help her daughter, who has been chronically depressed and couldn't sleep for more than a couple hours for like 5 years. And she did a chair session to her daughter. And after the class, she slept 7 hours for the first time in 5 years. And this is like something new, right? Like this is like something she just learned and she did it and it worked. And I'm not saying it works for everyone. And when the timing is right, and I feel like there's something about, like working with your family that may make it work too. The love and caring. Sometimes like you have a lot of love and caring, but you don't know how to show them. And this is a great way to show the love and care. Another student had chronic illness since early 20s, and that affected her physical body as well as mentally. And she was anxious all the time and was tired all the time. And after the Reiki class, she did her Reiki self-care and she gained more energy and she was in less physical pain. And then she was even able to start to help people who are in the same chronic condition as her, which she said was not imaginable before Reiki class because, it was just too much to like take care of herself in her life. So, if you're curious about like, if you're like, oh, I have this, did anyone go through something like that? Feel free to ask me at the end of the event. So if you are ready to begin your Reiki journey with me and have life-changing experience, Virtual Reiki 1 class, once again, is on March 25th and 26th. And I'm just gonna put the link for those of you who's interested. That is the website where you can find out more about it, where you can sign up. And if you have any question, feel free to ask me, even after the event too. So thank you so much for letting me share that. And are you guys ready for Reiki Energy Spiritual Blessing? Yes. Okay. So as I mentioned, there's no religious association, although sometimes when I say spiritual blessing, right, they're like, oh, wait, I practice this religion. So that's why I'm letting you know. And if you prefer to opt out, you can private DM me right now so that I can skip you, but I highly recommend that you try it out. And as I mentioned before, it helps you open up and connect more to the spiritual life force energy. So you'll be receiving individualized longer version of it at the Reiki class, but you get the taste of it today. And all you need to do is just relax and receive. Easy enough, right? So are you guys ready to relax and receive? Yes. Okay, so I'm going to share music with you while I do this. And it's one of my favorite Reiki music. So get in a comfortable position and take a nice deep breath in and be ready to receive whatever you're ready to receive in this moment. Just relax and receive. And you can just take a nice deep breath in and breathe out and stay in a comfortable position. Take a nice deep breath in and connect to yourself, connect to the energy. And with your eyes closed, let's do one more dry bathing. Bring your right hand over to the left. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. And now bring your hands into a prayer position and come up with one word quality for you for next 21 days. What kind of quality of life that you want to live? Do you want to live with a life where there's a lot of beauty, maybe happiness, peace, love, passion, transformation, playfulness? Some feeling that you want to experience instead of anxiety. What would that be? You might have a couple of different ones, but let's just pick one for now. And if you have one, I think I'm going to pick happiness. And whatever you chose, please feel that feeling. So in my case, I'm going to start to feel the happiness. Right? Just thinking about it for me, just automatically bring a smile to my face. So intensify whatever emotion that you chose. Feel that feeling in your heart. Maybe breathe the way you'll be breathing when you have that emotion, when you have that feeling, when you have that quality in your life. Maybe visualize what it's like, or what it was like when you had that quality in your life. And maybe hear yourself talk, right? If I'm in a happy mood, I would not be beating myself up. I'll be saying, oh my God, my life is so amazing. Oh my God, I love this. That would be the kind of things that I'll be talking to my head. How about you? What would that be? So keep feeling up with that emotion, seeing the vision of what it's like to live with that quality, with that emotion, with that feeling for next 21 days. And when you're ready, open your eyes and come back to the room. Ah, look how you guys, you look so relaxed and happy, maybe because I chose happiness. Maybe whatever I see, I'm looking through the filter of happiness. Maybe that's why. But what word did you choose? What is the quality that you chose? Ah, so Kim chose loving kindness. Elizabeth chose peace. Okay, and Leslie chose ease. What else? What else? And Margaret is happiness. Oh, same as me. And Natalia is easy flowing, and Jackie's joy. And Roxana is grace and ease. Oh, very nice. Yes. So, just remember what you chose for next 21 days, right? And feel that feeling instead of the other feeling that you might have been experiencing before you came here.